The Irrefutable Laws of Social Media with myself, Sarah Noel. This is a topic, as you know, I am super passionate about. Go ahead and do me a favor. If you are dressed from the neck up, I encourage you to turn your video on. I want you guys to have as many opportunities as possible to connect with all of the folks that are in this call with you. Take a second, go ahead right now over into the chat. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what area you serve. This is such a wonderful place for all of us to build relationships, create connection, and frankly, get referrals. I have a lot of folks from the real estate industry that are on the call with me today, but I also have many folks that are in fact outside of the industry, probably interested in buying a home someday and all of the above. So go ahead and tell us who you are, where you serve, what you do to make sure everybody has a great chance to connect. If you want to throw your contact information in the chat as well, I would totally encourage that because this is just a wonderful way for everybody to have the opportunity to connect. As I said, a recording will be available, so make sure you share that with all of your friends. That email will go out likely on Monday, and we are going to fly through this content. So go ahead and hold your questions until the end or type them in the chat if you're worried about forgetting them. I tend to find that the majority of questions that get asked, the answer is your answer's on the next slide. So trust me, stay tuned with me, but I want to make sure that all of your questions get answered. I will stick around afterwards to take any extra questions that you may have. I'm going to begin with a little conversation on muscle memory. If you have attended any one of our lead gen summits, you know that you may have heard about this before. If you have a good definition for muscle memory, go ahead and put that in the chat right now. Many people will tell me it's like riding a bike. Many people will say it's like breathing. It's something that you do without even thinking about it. Michael Jordan said it takes 10,000 repetitive motions, repetitive actions in order to make something muscle memory. Now, muscle memory can be a good thing, right? Like breathing, like riding a bike. If we rented bikes at Sun River this week, you'd kind of figure out, you push that pedal forward, it propels that bike forward. You would remember because of muscle memory. Now, muscle memory can also be a negative thing. Now, if you're anything like me, you told yourself, I'm going to start working out, insert time. I'm going to start working out on Monday. I'm going to start working out in the new year. And then Monday comes around and you make the mistake of checking your email first, or somebody invites you to breakfast, and all of a sudden you don't keep that promise to yourself. And you end up supporting a negative type of muscle memory. Many of you have told me that you're going to start lead generating on Monday, that you are going to start setting up a nurture campaign for your past clients next year, that you're going to start your marketing campaign next year. Well, this is the type of muscle memory that can hurt us. So I encourage you to give yourself so much grace today, because I'm going to be challenging you, encouraging you, and alongside of you today, showing you some amazing ways that you can connect with some of your clients through, the folks you want to be working with through social media. And some of that negative muscle memory is going to come into play, and you're going to be struggling with some thoughts around if you can do it, if you can be this vulnerable, if this is authentic to you. The only way to do something is to do it. The only way to build muscle memory is to take that first step and then begin to practice it. So as I give you some different ideas, I hope that you will write down 2 things out of all of the ways that I'm going to show you today to engage your followers, to build a more authentic following, to get to be yourself on social media, to get higher placement in the algorithm. Of all the things I'm going to teach you today, I encourage you to pick out 2 things that you're actually going to practice on an ongoing basis in your business through social media. And that's going to create that muscle memory in order for you to be able to really be fruitful for this, right? We know that social media is not something that you can walk into overnight and be a success. If you post one time about getting, somebody into their next home or having somebody buy your product or service, we know that it isn't one post that's going to do it. So stay tuned with me as we go through these. If there's anything that you want to know about me, please ask your questions in the comments. Hopefully you've had a chance to follow me over the last few years and trust that I know what I'm talking about. But I will say up front, I know that there is more knowledge in this Zoom room than there is in my head. So I encourage you to share your thoughts in the chat. Let other people know if you've tried these things and they've worked for you, if you have another thing you've tried that works better, or if you just want to argue about whether or not you think this stuff will work, please go ahead and consider this a great place for you to share it. I have been alongside you in the real estate industry for the last 5 years, spent a decade in real estate marketing, and I've been social selling before they even knew what to call it since about 2010. I do love passionate, authentic entrepreneurs that happen to be real estate pros. So no surprise, many of you are right here in this room, but I have also supported and come alongside so many folks in other industries that have been able to use these tools. So this is absolutely not specific to the real estate industry. These laws apply to anyone who has a social media account. Highlights from today, we are going to go through the 10 irrefutable laws of social media pop quiz. There's not actually 10. You're going to make up a few of your own laws. There are some stumbling blocks that everyone hits. I want to see if I can get those out of your way up front. And then I have included a bonus section at the end of the video with all of the top tips that I've learned along the way that you can use today to increase your following. So why should you care about the laws? You've been on social media. You're on it often. The average person spends more than 2 hours per day scrolling on social media, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, a couple of hours, going through the reels, getting lost in the rabbit hole of social media, and that time flies by. So if you're going to be on social media anyway, if you add a few of these tips, you're going to be able to use your time more wisely, bring in business that will pay you to ultimately sit on your couch and work in social media. So a little bit of a mindset shift. If you have been lost in social media, scrolling away for hours, not only is it probably not the best for your mental health, but it's probably not actually bringing you business. So this is why these laws matter. Authenticity. Now, this is like a joke, right? To talk about social media and authenticity in the same conversation. A lot of people would laugh at the idea, but I'm going to explain to you how I have been able to live a more authentic life, how I've come alongside some amazing people who now love social media, who at one time hated it, did not see the value of it, and it has become one of the most rewarding ways to live and exist on the internet because of these laws. And then, of course, connection, right? It is the cheapest, easiest way for you to connect with anyone at any time. If I threw a party with 5,000 people, and I told you that you could make contact with anyone in this room any way that you wanted to, if your goal was to make as much contact as possible with the awesome people in the room that you actually wanted to connect with, I get the sense that you wouldn't ask me for a stack of cards so you could write them a handwritten letter. I get the sense that you would probably want to live more authentically than just walking around with your business card, playing business card bumper cars, and just handing them out to people. I even get the sense that if I were to give you a phone list with every single person in the room's phone number, that you would not sit there in the corner and send each one of them text messages or try to call them one by one. You would, in fact, want to choose the bullhorn. You would want to be put on the stage so everyone could see you and you could put an authentic message out there that would attract those folks who you actually want to do business with, not everybody else, but say those words that would attract those folks that you actually want to do business with your bullhorn. And that's exactly what social media can be for your life. So We know social media is an enormous place, an enormous monster, an enormous existence that you can live within, live alongside, live because of for some people. But the most important piece is focus. And I begin with you. A lot of people come to these classes and their hope is that I can tell them what times they should post and what days they should post so that their posts get more engagement. Yes, there is a slide a few ahead that will tell you that. But the most important piece is that you focus on you. That's the first step. The first key in living authentically in the internet is understanding who you are. You're more than just a realtor. You're more than just a lender. You're more than just a girl who sells stretch pants, right? You're probably maybe a mother or a father, or you like basketball or you like baseball. You are such a robust person who has unique ideas and interests and opinions and all of the above. And of course, what do you do, right? I'm always bummed out when I ask somebody, what do you do? And they say, I'm a lender. What do you do? I get people in, I help people through the home loan process. What do you do? And encouraging you to go deeper into that conversation. More than just, I push paperwork and do home loans. More than just, I drive my car around and open doors so people can decide which home they want to live in. For many people, you give them access to generational wealth through home ownership. For many of you, you practice a thin sliver of law we call real estate law, which is being a realtor, right? Going in deeper on what you do, and then knowing where you serve. Because just because you have the license to sell real estate or the license to originate home loans anywhere in Oregon doesn't mean that it's the best use of your time. We rabbit hole in this one in our lead generation class. If you're spending your time doing one thing versus another, you're paying yourself to do that task. So understanding where you geographically worth your time to drive to, and then everything outside of that is just an opportunity to be a referral source for someone else in the industry and get them working for you. Knowing where you serve matters, especially when we're targeting ads, especially when we're connecting in Facebook groups. And then most importantly, knowing who you serve. And this is a conversation, if you like to go in deeper, I'm going to use this really lame word, customer avatar. I have a YouTube video, an hour and a half rabbit hole into customer avatar, but here's the essence of it. If I stand at the fair and I say, everybody, step right up, nobody steps right up, because that person's not speaking to me, they're speaking to everybody, and therefore they're speaking to no one. I have literally stood in a coffee shop and said that, everybody, step right up. And people didn't even look away from their phones. But in that same coffee shop, if I stand over the top of someone and I give a message that is so direct and so authentic and only meant for them, you'd be surprised to watch the entire room turn for two reasons. One, people don't hear authentic messages very often. And number two, it is like a dog whistle to our ideal client. So I encourage you, if you don't know who your customer avatar is, take the time to watch that video. We'll go into a little bit of a deep dive on a future slide in this class, but I want you to think about who your ideal person is. If you tell me that you want to work with high-level investors that purchase 3 to 4 properties per year or more, and then your social media is all about getting first-time home buyers into their homes, or great loan products that are for first-time home buyers, that investor is going to be like, oh, right? Why would I talk to this person about investing? because it's out of alignment with who your ideal customer is. Your communication is out of alignment with who your customer avatar is. On the other side, if you want to work with first-time home buyers and first-time home investors, you will find that when you speak directly to that audience, then when that investor sees your content go by, they'll think, oh, I have a niece, I have a nephew who's interested in buying their first home. And this chick is so authentic, I'm going to connect her with them. But when we say we serve everyone who wants to buy, sell, or invest in Oregon, we essentially speak to no one. And once you know who your customer avatar is, then you can figure out where they're at. Now, here's the most important thing. If this is one of the things you write down that you take away from today, exist in the social media platforms that you're actually going to exist in. So often, I have folks who hire marketing companies that come into their new businesses on day one, and they set them up a Facebook account, and they set them up a LinkedIn, and they set them up a YouTube, and they set them up an Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, name it. They set up all of these folks. And maybe they've put a profile picture in, and maybe they've put a post or two. But then when the users that you want to do business with go in and comment on these things, or they message you on these platforms, and you're not there to engage with them, and you don't have the time or you don't have the money to pay a company to engage on 7 to 10 different social media platforms, you end up hurting your reputation, because they're like, I remember messaging that girl and she never messaged me back. And you lose total focus. Social media is a great way to live more authentically and to go deeper into your relationships with people. And when you're trying to decide which social media platforms you should exist on, once you know who your customer avatar is, once you've identified your client, your perfect ideal client, is it a 25-year-old first-time home buyer with a dad who used to own a construction company? Those ones can be tricky. Is it a 55-year-old savvy investor? And when you're trying to decide which platforms you want to exist in, it's very crucial that you understand who is in those platforms. If you told me, hey, Sarah, I'm thinking TikTok is the way for me to build my business, hopefully you're wanting to connect with men who are between the ages of 25 and 34, because 2 out of every 10 people on TikTok fit that demographic, right? But if you're trying to decide where and when to put your business, you might decide that you want to exist on Facebook, because we know 72% of folks who are on Facebook, active users on Facebook, are over the age of 25, making them a little easier to get pre-qualified. Am I right? If you know that you want your business to grow through social media and you want to start with a younger crowd, you like to work with those 19-year-old, 20-year-old folks, and they're going to be your first-time home buyers, and you're going to put them into their second, third properties, maybe Instagram is a great place for you to exist. I know for me, when I look at the number of people in each one of these platforms, 2.9 billion active users on Facebook. Well, beginning to compete with YouTube, we're still almost a billion apart, right? So I appreciate the number of share people on Facebook. Most people who have a LinkedIn profile or a YouTube profile or an Instagram profile also have a Facebook profile. So I know for me, I can find more folks there. And we know that almost 50% of their audience is over the age of 45 at this point, and only growing. So decide where you want to exist in social media and really take a deep dive in connecting with folks there. If you're thinking about YouTube, making shorts, they're like Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or TikTok videos. YouTube Shorts are the next upcoming thing. So if you're thinking that you want to dive into YouTube, or you have a YouTube following right now, Shorts is on the horizon and you want to be ahead of the curve. You've also probably seen a resurgence in LinkedIn in the past 5 years. Some of you will remember 20 years ago, LinkedIn was like the premier social media platform for businesses. And then we kind of watched it die down as other social media platforms grew in their number of users. Well, in the last 3 years, LinkedIn has added over 400 million users in the business to business world. So if you like to connect with other businesses, if your main referral source is other folks in the industry as you, that's a wonderful place for you to consider building your business through social media. But just make sure wherever you exist on social media, you actually go there. Leads us to law number 2, the law of authenticity. Now, again, hopefully this one makes you laugh a little bit, but I know for me, if you followed me 3 or 4 years ago now, 4 years ago now, somebody told me social media videos were the future. They were on the horizon. And so I started doing videos. At that time, I filtered them all. I edited them all. I felt like it was so important that I be polished and educated, and I never miss a word or skip a word or forget a word or pause. And about 6 months later, I worked alongside a storytelling branding artist. Excited to talk to you more about that one. And this person helped me understand that in order to live a more authentic life, I had to show up as myself in social media. I had to make my jokes. I had to forget my words. I had to laugh and move on and keep those videos real and authentic for 2 reasons. One, the algorithms support it more. They want to have more authenticity in social media. They want to have more people in social media. And 2, then when people showed up to me, I got to be myself. If you came to one of my classes, I got to be myself. I got to joke and laugh and sometimes cuss. And that was no surprise to you because you were originally attracted to maybe even show up for this class because of the way you've seen me show up as myself every day. And then I meet people for coffee and they're like, huh, that really is you. So rewarding for me to have that opportunity. So for you, just like who you are, where you serve, what you do matters, it all is going to start with you in your personal social media profile. So be easy to find, make friends with people, take the time to fill out your bio line or your about section. Go in and fill out all the places that you've worked and all of the places that you've gone to school for 2 different reasons. One, you never know what people might have the opportunity to learn about you. They say when someone accepts your friend request, they generally go and look at your profile. And then they rarely ever go back to your profile. So it isn't when they're deciding if they want to accept your friend request or they want to follow you back, it isn't just them deciding, hey, I wonder if her content is going to be valuable to me. They're not even taking the time to look at your content. They're just looking at your page and deciding at a quick snapshot if they want to engage with you. So giving them as much information as possible so that they can get to know you in a quick snapshot is so valuable. And number 2, the algorithms are going to support you because the algorithms want to help you make connections with other people. So if you put the high school that you graduated from, other people who graduated from your high school are more likely to see you in the suggested follow list or in the suggested friend request list because they have a connection with you. And if they start to like some of the same companies that you do, this is how we dive into that customer avatar later. If they start to see some of these things that you both have in common, social media is going to be more likely to put you in a higher placement in their feed or in the algorithm because you have more connections to be made with than a standard page or profile that just has the picture and like your current job and that's it. So dive into your page first. And if your first thought is, but I'm private, but I'm too embarrassed, you are not alone. I encourage you to never be more vulnerable than you want to be with folks. But You might find that a picture of the meal that you ate posted in your stories is not very invasive. It's not very private, right? But it gives people this chance to go, oh my gosh, I wonder how she made that soup. Or how fun, we both order the same thing at Starbucks. So I'm not begging you to post pictures of your children. And in fact, if you go to my Not Our Children YouTube video, you'll learn I don't even encourage that piece. But if you're looking for ways that you can live more authentically, you'd be surprised how often a picture of your view, whether it's your feet on your coffee table watching the Blazer game, or the Blazer game itself, you sitting there courtside or the best seats that we can get, is a wonderful way where people can connect with you and feel vulnerable and feel like they are a part of your life. Which leads us right into law number 3, the law of connection. It all is going to begin with you, as we mentioned, but you're going to have to go out there and make some real connections in order for the algorithms to know that you're really participating. People who post and ghost, meaning put a post up on social media and then back out of social media and not use it the rest of the day, the algorithm says, don't use us for your one post that you came in here for. Use us to build relationships. One of the easiest ways when we want to make something going on around those posts so that more people see them is to get vulnerable and find 5 to 10 active followers. That can be somebody who is a perfect example of your ideal client. Maybe it's one of your past clients or one of your dear friends that you love working with. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's your best friend. Reach out to those people today if that's one of the things you want to take away and say, hey, I'm wanting to make a bigger impact on this world. And I'm going to start by doing it through social media. When I post something, will you consider if you find it valuable, give me that feedback and then like, comment, or share that post so others can see it too. This is a great one to do with your referral partners. I'm going to introduce a couple of amazing referral partners that are on the call with us today. And this is something that if you can get vulnerable with folks, you can have the opportunity to be able to build real relationships with everybody. And start with your referral partners. If you have somebody in lending or a fellow realtor or somebody in title that wants to cheer you on, especially if they make money off your transactions, go ahead and ask them, tell them, I'll follow, I'll like, I'll share your stuff. And would you do the same for me? And then go into the people who are already friends with you, who are already following you, and participate in their lives. Go to their pages, find their last post, comment on it, ask them questions, message them, participate in their lives for 2 reasons. 1, it's going to actually deepen your relationships with these people. And number 2, when they open the app the next day, the algorithms are going to put people higher in their placement who have had more engagement with them. And if you use social media like Facebook on your desktop, go in and look for the custom friends list. There's tons of YouTube videos out on this. I'll spare you. I didn't even make my own. But there's a custom friends list in Facebook where you can go in and build your own custom list. Maybe you're going to build a list today of everybody who closed a home with you in the last, in the last year. Maybe you're going to make a custom friends list of people who are in your family or people who are in your close circle. Now, when you're on the desktop and you're just scrolling on social media, that custom friends list is going to be the only people that you see go by. So if you wanted to create a custom friends list of everybody who bought or sold with you 4 or 5 years ago, we know that those folks are primed to sell, and it might be in your favor to spend your time on social media commenting and engaging with those folks specifically. So custom friends list is a great way of making sure that you can really dive in and deepen those relationships and stay focused when you're in social media. We want to make sure that your page is a place where your industry can weigh in, your customer avatar can weigh in and get feedback from people in real time. So have conversations. Don't just post people and try to be, post blank, basic stuff and try to be the hero for them. Ask them questions. Ask people what's working. Ask folks what they like. and then get the opportunity for other people to weigh in. If you're in the real estate industry, you may have hated my post from yesterday. You thought maybe I shouldn't weigh in on what normal interest rates are, and you like all of this news out here telling us, or all these folks out here pounding the pavement, letting people know what's bad or good. That can be very propagandic. But when we start those conversations and we let other people weigh in, we let other people tell us we're wrong, or let other people tell us we're right, that's when we have the opportunity to really be a place of culture and community inside our industry, inside our little spot in the world. And we know that photos go farther because they're way more interesting than just text, but also photos of people having great experiences, people living their best life, is a way that people can build more connection with you. The algorithm supports seeing teeth, seeing the whites of our eyes. There's literally algorithmic bots that are going through to determine whether or not these pictures are the people looking at the camera or not looking at the camera. And those photos with more physical engagement to the camera are going to keep people in the platform longer, which is what they want. And they're also going to be more engaging to someone as they scroll by. And videos, I'm going to talk to you in a little while about how to get more brave around videos if you're anxious at all about the idea, but that's how people feel like they will know you. It's been really wild for me to see in the last 4 years. When I go to an industry event now, I have people whom I've never met in real life come up and talk to me about things that we first had the conversation with on social media through a video that I posted. So if you're thinking, I'm too scared to do videos, this is where we get real. What you look like, what you sound like, it's what you're like. All of my videos, when I listen to them, I'm like, is my voice really that deep? Yes, that's actually what I sound like. And you have to get over some of those pieces so that you can have a larger than life connection with people in the world. And part of that is going to be through videos. Now, it has to be said, can you trust someone else to make a connection on your behalf? Right? You think, I'm too busy in the day. I don't have time for all of these video making that you're talking about, all of this commenting, all of these asking questions. Most of the time that you spend in social media, if you're anything like the average person, is spent scrolling. So you're going to start using that time more wisely. The entire social media world won't feel so daunting. But if you are thinking about whether or not you want to pay somebody to do it, generally people have time or they have money, right? They can either pay somebody to do it for them or they can spend the time doing it themselves. And now both will do, but I promise you, you alone will do more. It will be heavy on the front end with research, figuring out who your ideal client really is, going in and making sure that your page is really set up for people to engage, that you're auto posting your own content. You can sit down and batch post, meaning going out, taking several photos, creating several pieces of content. You can go out and build that out yourself for a lot less expensive than you can pay somebody to do it, and more authentically, because it's what you really do feel is valuable for your people. And then use the time that you're already on social media anyway to pay attention to what is working, what your ideal folks are already engaging with, which pages they comment the most on. Use that time on the front end and you won't need to pay somebody. But if you are thinking about, this is way out of my hands, I'm just going to pay somebody to get the ball rolling for me, I encourage you to pay the extra and go with the social media manager. If you need a recommendation, I have several in this area and nationally that would be happy to support you. Auto posting services that say, tell us your industry and we will post every third day. Or maybe you are working for a company, or you hang your license with a company that gives you like all of this stock content. We know that posting National Donut Day or National Peanut Butter Cup Wrapper Day or whatever national day it is not as engaging as watching you go down to a local business and eat a donut, or share your thoughts on a donut, or telling everybody why you have a pile of peanut butter cup wrappers inside your desk on the last day of the month. Okay, so If you're considering one versus the other, make sure that you just bite the bullet, pay a little bit more, have a social media manager who really can take wonderful, authentic photos of you before you ever consider posting stock, auto posting content or services. I promise you it'll pay for itself. But just make sure that no matter which social media you choose to exist in, recognize that this is a business for them. Okay, recognize that we've got to play their game. Law number 4, the law of commerce. Now, it's going to benefit you too, right? You're also here because you want to live more authentically and make more money through social media, but so are they, right? Social media on every different platform has only one job, and that is to keep people in the platform as long as possible. So it's going to prioritize any content that keeps people in the platform, whether they're reading that content like it's a news source or they're watching the videos. That is its job. And you can know that and play along. Remember, only between 1 and 10% of your audience is going to see any given piece of your content. So when you get to the point on Facebook where you have 5,000 friends or you have 5,000 followers on Instagram, when you post that, picture of your day going by or one of your, picture of your coffee cup in your stories, between 5 and 50 people might see it. And we know in order to keep people's attention, it has to be quality over quantity to start. Can we have quality and quantity? Oh, gosh, I sure hope so. But we know that people are only going to see your content tomorrow if they engage in it today. All of the algorithms know, does your content slow down their thumb? Even if they don't like it, do they click on the see more so that they can read about the long form of what you're telling them? Do they like it? Do they share it? Do they message you about it? Do they send it to other people in Messenger? People will be more likely to see your content tomorrow if they engage in it today. And I've proved this every time some lady has a baby. There she is, nap trapped with her brand new baby person. And she's posting that picture on social media of the baby. First, 10 pounds, 20 ounce, little tiny baby somebody, right? And when you go in to the most liked, the most commented post of this person's, likely of their entire year or maybe their entire life on social media, 120 likes and 80 comments, and every single comment says what? Put it in the chat. You're right. Congratulations. 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 Cute baby. Love the hat. Congratulations. 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 And then I go in and I say, oh my goodness, sweet mama, how was your labor? And that mama comments because she's nap trapped. This is her only line of communication to the world for part of her day. And she says, oh man, 24 hours of labor. It was crazy. I say, oh my gosh, 3 kids deep. One of them, my longest, was 60 hours of labor. I'm going to go into Messenger and we're going to hash it out and talk about this. And then we go over to Messenger and we talk to each other right in the midst of that. So what happens is tomorrow when she opens up her social media app, social media says, this person on the best day, the biggest day of their entire social media lives, she maybe liked all these comments at best, but she skipped over the comments of her best friend, her mother, her coworkers to comment on this one chick, Sarah Noel. So I'm going to tell you this again later, but if it's the only thing you take away today from me in this entire hour-long class, ask questions. Because me going in and asking that question, sometimes you got to dig deep for questions. Was it hot that day? Where did you buy that shirt at? That will get them to reply to you, even just right there in the comments, so that tomorrow when they open their app, you will have the higher placement than all these other people who are just commenting because social media saw that they were engaged with them and you kept them in the platform 1 second longer to reply to you. And we've got to make sure that we're curating your content for the people who matter most. Remember when I said, if we're talking to an investor, a savvy 50-year-old investor, we're going to have different conversations and we're going to have different words that we use than when we're talking to a 24-year-old first-time home buyer. Am I right? So make sure that your content is speaking straight to your audience. Remember, authenticity on one side is going to be attractive to everybody, so you're not shutting out anyone. And it's like a dog whistle for the people who you actually want to do more business with, because you're not just competing with other loan officers, with other realtors. You're competing with everyone, their own friends, their own family. And if your content is good, you can never post too much. I love Gary Vee. Gary Vee posts 7 to 10 times per day. And if I'm midway through my day, I might actually go check his page to see if his 1 o'clock post has come out, because I have a little bit of free time and I love Gary Vee, and all of his content is so powerful. Be that in your industry, someone who can never overpost, because all of your content is so rich and actually something that people want to read. I get all kinds of stock emails from realtors and lenders who I've ended up on their mailing list somehow. And then I send it back to them and I say, is this valuable to you? No, but I figure something's better than nothing. Maybe if you want them to realize that your something isn't very valuable, and maybe top of mind has a place here. But if you're looking to build a true culture and a true community and have people look to you as someone who provides value, education, entertainment, then you've got to go deep and make sure that your content is valuable to the folks you want to attract. And start by asking yourself, would I read this? Would I open this email? Would I open this subject line? Because lesson 5, it matters when you do it, right? The law of recency. So this is how often you're posting, when you're posting. We know that generally speaking in social media, especially on Instagram and Facebook, we get the most click-throughs Monday through Friday between 1 and 3 o'clock. Folks are on their lunch break, they're hiding their phones under their desks, maybe they're using the restroom. They don't have time to do a lot of reading, but they do have the time to do a little bit of clicking around. Maybe that's when you invite people to your events, because we know people can hit that going button during that window of time. In the evening time, 6 to 8 p.m., that's when folks are actually using it for content. Instead of reading their mail or reading their newspapers like we all used to, they're scrolling through social media and they have more time to read those longer posts. So if you're going to post something, we want to make sure that you're doing it late enough in the day that by 6 to 8 o'clock, it can have some traction so more people are seeing it. Ideally, at bare minimum, you are posting between 1 and 3 times per week between both of your business page and your profile, plus all of the story content that we hope that you're doing daily. Even if it's just, I would stand in front of the field across the street from my house and I would just like wave. And I started doing that every morning. And if you can post during the same time every single day, social media algorithms will begin to see, hey, when we need content at 1 o'clock, she's always posting. I thought nobody was going to see my stories when I'm waving in my stories or I'm smiling in my stories at 7 a.m., except for when I did it every day at 7 a.m., waiting for the kids to get on the bus or get in the car. Then every day social media knew they could put me in that lineup at 7 a.m. because I was bringing them consistent content. Historically, the most users are logged into both Facebook and Instagram. Now we're seeing Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's when you have the most folks logged in. So if you can get a consistent post up before 9 a.m., we have more opportunity for that to go a little bit farther during that time where the most people are logged in. And then what do you post? Law number 6, the law of relevancy. Okay. Imagine the algorithm in social media is a lot like a bouncer at a dance club in the 90s. Some of you may remember back when you wanted to get into the club, there would be this long line of people waiting, and there would be a bouncer or a guy with a clipboard who was trying to decide who was going to get let into the club. Maybe it's a group of fun people having a fun time and they all look beautiful in their fancy outfits and all their makeup on. Maybe it's a whole group of guys that look like heavy spenders, right? And they're going to come in and buy drinks for all of those fun, wild group. So if you imagine the social media platform is a lot like that club, and it's full of users. And us, with our goals as business owners or business pages, wanting to get inside so that we can be seen by more people, not just the folks who are walking by the line going in VIP, but getting actually into that club. Imagine it that the algorithm is trying to decide based upon how fresh your content is, how fresh your look is, how valuable and quality you look to that bouncer in the doorway. We've got to infiltrate to get in. So it's got to look and feel like it's the platform. If you have a post that says 30% off today, I don't care what you're selling. I don't care if it's 100% off today. I don't care if it's free today. Most people are coming into social media so that they can build relationships, so that they can see videos of cats. Whatever your ideal client, your customer avatar is going to social media to use, you're going to know better than anybody else. And you're going to post in a way that shows that. If I post a picture of myself and I talk about my love for social media, and then I invite you to this class at the bottom, that post goes longer than when I post the flyer for the class and the link to send everybody to go and register every time, because we need it to look like it's a part of the platform. So without all things considered, what content goes to the front of the line? We know that text only post goes to the back of the line. Unless you're able to consistently post, maybe it's your quote of the day, the same time every day, you might get a little favorite in the algorithm because you're giving them consistent content. But generally speaking, text only are going to go all the way to the back of the line. Text with photos is in front of them. Post with videos in them in front of that. Then in front of that, we want news and content. They want to keep people in here. When you're stuck in traffic, they know oftentimes folks are going to go to social media to figure out what's this blockage on the West Salem Bridge before they're going to go over to the Statesman Journal website to find out if anybody has, uploaded some article there. And at the very front of the line, they want folks to be able to build real relationships, connect with them, have authenticity. So reels and live videos, things that are happening in real time, are going to go to the front of the line. Then once you start posting, we've got to hook them. Here's a great list if you want to screenshot some wonderful ways that you can hook them into that content, because we need to stop their thumbs. Whether you're starting with a stat or a question, inviting people to give feedback, drawing some anticipation for the future, these are what's going to get people hooked. Assuming that you're posting real relevant content, go ahead and screenshot this too. We know visual posts, because they are actually existing, using this platform as it was intended, will go to the top. But then fun posts and quizzes, questions, resources, all of those will still be valuable. They'll just fall more in line depending on when you post them. Now, relevancy and diving deeper into that customer avatar. Once you know who your ideal client is, that first-time home buyer might need to understand what closing costs are. They might need money for their down payment. They might need to understand that maybe there's somebody who can give them a gift and offer a gift letter. So understanding their actual pain points, their actual problems, then you can use your page to solve their problems. We want to know their goals and their values. We want to know which pages they've liked, if they shop at Patagonia or if they shop at the Gap, because you can start tagging those companies that you know your ideal client has already either liked or shops at, because the algorithm is going to see that you're making more connections with those folks and put you higher in their placement, including educating them before they show up to you. I teach this class on social media only because I got tired of teaching this class one-on-one. Everyone would say, hey, teach me about what you do on social media. Well, then I realized, no, go watch my hour-and-a-half video, have a baseline of knowledge on it, and then come and sit with me and learn all about the next level that I'd love to deep dive in with each and every one of you. So know your customer avatar, watch my customer avatar video for more information, because we've got to make sure everything you post is relevant. And if you're not sure where to begin in content, don't be afraid to steal and credit relevant content sources and articles. If I find that a lot of my ideal clients have commented on the same thread that maybe, a national speaker posted, I'm going to click on that picture and save it. I'm going to hold my thumb down on that content and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to make a brand new social media post just as if it was my own. And then at the very bottom, I say, thank you at so-and-so for this amazing information. You'll find out in a minute why we don't just share them. Screenshot this as well if you're interested in any more content ideas at the bottom. All of these slides are going to be in the recording. When you are looking at your content, ask yourself, is it educational, entertaining, emotional, engaging, or exclusive? These are the 5 touch points that you need to hit on, at least 1 or 2 of them, in order for that post to go farther. Now, we can make something going on because you've got those 5 to 10 friends. You post something and you text each one of them, hey, I just posted something, like, comment, and share. Now, all of a sudden, the algorithm says, wow, in the first 10 minutes that they posted something, it's already gotten likes, comments, and shares. That's going to be an amazing way. Buying into the profile, buying into the platform that you actually exist in, doing those live videos, they're all going to be huge for you. If you're not sure where to start with live video, I encourage you to just hold the camera out and say, hey, actually don't say hey, because I just told yourself don't say hey. You're going to say, this is my favorite view. And then you're going to quickly turn your camera around and you're going to show them a beautiful view. And then you're going to back out of your live video and you will have the opportunity to get that first live video out of the way. And all you had to do was make up 1 sentence. Out here at the farmer's market, turn that phone around. Maybe your next Saturday market, you go and you ask another business owner there if you can make a live video with them. And then you say, hey, meet so-and-so, he sells such and such at the Saturday market. And you turn your phone around and you let them fill up the content of that live video. The first 3 seconds matters more than any other time. So if you do start it out with, hey, I'm just popping on here, like, that is going to kill the feed. We don't want to spend those first 3 seconds making small talk. And please, 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 please do not spend your first 3 seconds waiting for anyone to pop on. Maybe 3 people see a live video and it goes on to have 30 views. So usually between 1 and 10% of people will tune into that first live video, but the other majority of people will all see it as a replay. So if you spend the first 10 seconds waiting for people to hop on so you can talk to them, you're actually just keeping all of those other people from ever watching your video because they're not going to sit with you and wait for anybody to hop on. Current algorithm on Facebook. This has been going on since COVID started. They're showing your content to 3 people. If those 3 people engage, then they show it to 6. If those 6 people engage in some way, then they'll show it to 12. So if you find that you have a post that dies at 3 views or dies at 3 likes, it's because nobody continued to engage with it. You can always try to repost that content. If you love it, you know it's valuable, repost it at a different time or a different day, see if more people hit, because we've got to get those folks engaged. So if you've got those 5 to 10 people that you can reach out to and they can go in and directly look for your content and engage, you're way more likely to have it go farther. And here's a few stumbling blocks I want to make sure that we don't miss, because everybody does these. We can spend all the time in the world making your content great and amazing, but if you're doing these things, it's going to kill you. Good Lord, be a positive place. The elections are over. Nobody really cared what your gripes were or why you hated that restaurant. Be a place, a resource for people who come for positive, bright energy. Bless you. We need more of it in social media. Monitor the comments when they get negative. Go in and delete comments. I delete comments on a daily basis. I have yet to have anyone ever ask me if their comment got deleted. People move on so quickly. Or you give them one of these, weird, social media, I don't know, right? Get those negative comments out of your thread. You don't want to be a place where negativity grows. Remember who you want to reach. When we start talking to the wrong group or we start arguing in the comments with the wrong people, if these are not people that you want to actually do business with, you don't want to engage with them. They are going to be soul sucking, because everything you do is a reflection of your own personal brand. And if it doesn't share you, don't share it. So Zillow listings are doing two things. When you share that Paragon listing or that Zillow listing, you're actually taking people out of the platform. You will not be rewarded for that. If you're putting website links in, you're taking people out of the platform. You will not be rewarded in that. And if there are other pages and you're sharing them, like this post here, I've shared Travel Salem's beautiful post about the Salem Bridge that went in a couple of years ago. If somebody hits that share button in the bottom right-hand corner, they will actually share Travel Salem's post, not my own. So I should have put my thumb down, stolen that picture, stolen that content, and then tagged Travel Salem. So if somebody shares it, they're sharing both of us, which brings me to your listings. Okay. On the right-hand side, you've got your dad's realtor, and he's sharing his listing the wrong way, right? We've put the website in there, so now somebody can just go on to another website. No social media platform is going to reward this post when you're trying to take people out of your site. And we've answered every single question: the street name, the location, right? The amount that the house is being sold for. We haven't told any cool stories. We haven't given anybody anything to engage with. So no surprise, right? People have all the information. They can decide if they like that house or not like that house. But if you gave them just the general neighborhood, told them how many bedrooms there were, told people they can message you for more questions, I'd rather have somebody message me and say, hey, how much is that house worth? Oh, 739,000. Bummer. I can't afford it. Well, great. What can you afford? And pick up a client, then have somebody just have that post go by and go, nah, can't afford it. I'm never going to reach out to that realtor because I don't have any questions for them, right? So let's wrap it up right now with our top tips. We have 2 minutes left together, and then I will go in to answer all of your questions. Here's what I want to make sure you do. First thing, if you're wondering where to start today, go and audit your own social media. You might find that the picture of your kids standing out in front of your home about to go to their first day of school was one of your most liked posts. That tells you something about your followers. List the posts that were the worst performers. Big surprise, I'm going to just spoiler alert right now. Oftentimes it's the just listed or the just sold, because you didn't tell a cool story about the family. You didn't post pictures or information about that property that made people want to ask questions. Pay attention to the trends. Most people pay between $250 and $1,000 to have their social media audited. You can do it for yourself. Get a Google spreadsheet, start making notes or screenshotting your best and your worst, and see what you learn about yourself. It's already been proven. If you exist in social media, your posts will go farther. So I'm going to give you the 5-5-5 rule. This probably should have been its own law, but I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. In the first 5 minutes after you post, we want to make 5 comments on other people's posts that have at least 5 words in it. If you go in and comment, you throw a couple of emojis, or you send them a, hey, cool, nice hair, or congratulations, they don't consider that true, authentic engagement. So after you post, 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after, we want to give at least 5 comments that are 5 words or more. This is going to show that you're engaging and you will be rewarded for it. Like I said before, I'm going to say it again, ask questions. If this is the only thing you take away in your entire flipping life, not just on social media, asking people questions is the #1 way that will build relationships for you. What's important to you about that? Tell me more about that. Did you like that? What did you think of that? What do you think of this? Ask questions. Post at the same time every day if you can. We want the algorithms to know they can count on us as content producers. And then use the free tools. I'm all about free. Use the free tools given to you by many platforms, including stories, reels, having a messenger option, using groups, and running ads. Facebook groups. Most of you only know about Facebook groups because you randomly get added to these Facebook groups as you go. But if you go and join a local buy-sell page, you know those people actually live here. They're in your demographic area. Pay attention to their rules, and then go in and solve problems. Be the only person in that group that's talking on a regular basis about real estate. right? They'll begin to know you as the go-to person on real estate when you engage in those groups. It's a great way to build connections, build relationships. Somebody starts a great conversation with you, you like their vibe, you friend them. A natural way to grow your social media following is through using Facebook groups because of brand awareness, great way to prospect. And you'll oftentimes get contact information when they join your group. So if you create a group around something that you're passionate, whether it's real estate or whether it's basketball, create a place where your customer avatar, your ideal clients like to go and live, and then you can build relationships with them authentically there. Other ways to make something more going on, start with that hook that we're going to, making sure people are under your thumb longer. Use hashtags. These are metadata tags that are connecting you to your customer avatar, to your ideal client. If you say hashtag realtor life, tell me in the comments who you're going to attract. More realtors and more people who use the term realtor life are going to be attracted to your page. So think about that customer avatar, that ideal client. What would they be talking about? What would they be hashtagging? And use those. Then tag everything and everyone, including other businesses, people who serve your ideal clients. I like to say, should I eat out at Rudy's tonight, or should I stop by at Burgerville to grab dinner? Because I know that my ideal client loves to eat at both of those places, and I'm going to pull more people out of the woodwork because they've either tagged a post at Rudy's already, or they've had their phone ping at a Burgerville while they waited for their food. And please, please use the resources around you. If you currently have a relationship with an Advantage loan officer, you already know that you've got those resources. You've got those people who are all in for your business. I have Shelly Stryker in this call. I have Stephen Roach in this call. I've got Justin White in this call. Any other folks? I've got Meredith in this call. So if there are folks in your world who are not supporting your business and social media, consider reaching out to the lenders that you're working with, to the referral partners that you're working with, and ask them to step up their game and support and following what you do on social media, because this is the number one way is to go farther together. So putting all of my content, my contact information on the screen right now, I would love to connect with all of you, the Real Estate Concierge on Instagram and on YouTube for more videos like this. So grateful to have all of you with me today, though. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of muscle memory, gets you a little bit of brave for sharing and connecting with folks in real life. And I'm going to open the chat and just open the room. If you guys want to hang out for a little bit, please do. If you've got, any thoughts or any wonderings, like by all means, this is what it's all about, is just having the opportunity for all of us to connect with each other. So let's see here. Ooh, here's a great question. Ooh, it's a long one. I got to scan up. Justin, love this. Question-based selling is so crucial, especially on social media, because most people won't expect people to respond to their comments. Yes, no one's responding. You be the one that's, besides trolls and spammers. So true. So the question, especially with customer avatar, what is your opinion on the balance of focusing who you are pursuing with your posts and not fully putting all of your apples into one basket? For example, if you like working with first-time homebuyers as well as investors, how do you market to both efficiently? Or do you create separate pages that are focused on investments and another page focused on first-time homebuyers? This is a great question. Justin, go ahead and unmute if you want to have a conversation with me. This is the struggle, right? When you say, I want to reach everybody. I do recommend that you have two different social pages and you really speak to one. Maybe on Instagram, you focus on first-time homebuyers because you know that audience is younger and those are the conversations that you're having and the content you're producing. And on Facebook, maybe you're leaning more on that investor side. Or you could have a voice for first-time homebuyers and a Facebook group that's specific to savvy investors, or vice versa. Maybe you speak solely to, high level investors in your social media page. And then you say, but I'm going to do you all the favor. And I'm, first time home buyers that are attracted to me. I have this great Facebook group where we talk about things that are specific to you. Now the investors are going, thank you. I'm so tired of uneducated first time home buyers trying to buy my properties. And you've got these first-time homebuyers that were probably attracted to you because they're of that investor mindset piece that we love. So, Justin, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious about what your take on that was, because like specifically being focal pointed, because like you said, if you gain a lot of followers on Instagram or Facebook that are following you for specific reasons, and you start talking about things that aren't in their wheelhouse, it allows them to not engage in those posts. So I was curious your take on kind of how to be able to market efficiently, but kind of like stocks. If you throw everything into one basket and all of a sudden a bad market happens, it could price you really quickly out of one group of people that could potentially bring you business.
Yes, I appreciate that. And I also encourage you to kind of rabbit hole in this idea that two things happen. One, it is like a dog whistle for those first-time home buyers. And two, it is a message so authentic that it attracts those investors that go, oh, man, I wish there was a kid around like you when I was a first-time home buyer, because you really know your stuff. You're passionate about it. I'm going to introduce you to my niece or nephew who's a first-time home buyer. Or you know what? Why don't you come alongside and you'll be my ideal realtor or my ideal lender, because I know that you're really being yourself and showing up like that. Absolutely. But if you have multiple platforms, separate those if you can, so we keep that dog whistle attracting. Then when somebody comes to you and says, oh, I love what you say about investors, but I've never bought a home before. Perfect. Join my Facebook group or hop over and follow me on, Instagram, so that you can see me deep dive into content that might be more relatable. Love it. Another question. Do I need a photo shoot? I see some with really cute pictures, way better than selfies. Is that a thing now? Photo shoots or what? I am a huge proponent of good photography. I think if you can get, I'm happy to recommend a couple of different, folks that do photo shoots, but get out there with your friends. If you don't have the money to spend $500 right now on a photo shoot, then get out there with one of your friends and take so many pictures, put some edits on them if you need to, throw them in a couple of filters so that you can use it. Me talking on my phone, me ordering coffee, me on my computer, like all of that is what we call lifestyle photography. So when I go to get any photo session done, hey, I'm going to get a fresh new headshot. I'm like, hey, will you take a couple of other quick photos? Then I put my phone on a stand behind the photographer and get pictures of the photographer taking pictures of me. All of these are valuable content that you can use. Justin, great comments. What other questions are coming up? Go ahead and unmute yourselves, hang out, talk to each other. A lot of you guys do business with each other or should be doing business with each other. What kind of questions do you have before we wrap up?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You said at the very beginning that you're kind of anti-posting about kids.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going after people who are like families who are living in their home and they want to remodel and do rehab loans, I feel like I'm going to want to be talking to Sam about, hey, instead of upgrading to that new house, instead of selling and moving on, let's rehab and make it more family friendly. I might want to be posting content that says I actually know what I'm talking about because this is my life.
Yes.
So then it's very authentic. So what's your take on that?
Yes. Do you mind if I give you like a 30-second rabbit hole into protecting kids on social media?
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay.
Oh,
so if you go to YouTube and you search "Not Our Children," you will find a 47-minute video where I rabbit hole into how predators, especially sexual predators, find our children through the internet. It may interest you. Here's what we know. If we give people the opportunity to build relationships with our children through our social media page, it can help those predators continue to build relationships with our children in real life. So if it's a reality, right? We know that the child predators, it is a misfiring of the pleasure sensors in their brain. Like we can rabbit hole that in another day if we really want to be grossed out. But here's that thought. You posting a photo of your kids running crazy in the house and saying, look at the hole in the wall that they did today, and not posting a photo every single day of your child, here's their birthday party. Here's them in the bathtub, right? We know that predators can be attracted to pages that have tons and tons of content of pictures of the same child. Many of those are screenshotted and they're shared into inappropriate groups, that can create interest. Just like we build relationships with celebrities, just like people can fall in love with celebrities that they've never met in real life, people can feel like they're building relationships with their children in the same way that we want them to build those relationships with us, right? This is why we're doing it, to build these relationships with people so that we're larger than life. So if it feels natural to post pictures of your kiddos every once in a while and share those moments of them on their first day of school or XYZ, fantastic. I know for me, I don't use my children's first names. I use the letter C or the letter E or the letter J, so that then I know that person's never going to walk up to my kids like they're their best friend. Say, hey, little J, I hear you're in 3rd grade this year and I hear that you like to play sports and I've already seen pictures of you in the bathtub, right? That's an element where I encourage everybody to consider what they're putting out in the internet, especially if it's rolls and rolls of pictures of their children. So I'm not, go ahead.
Well, so can I interrupt you? So from your perspective, it's fine to market and talk about it. Oh, I have 4 kids and it's insane, but I don't even have to show pictures of them, but it's okay as part of my authentic life to be like, I want to remodel my house and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm getting a rehab loan because moving sounds terrible right now.
Truly. Oh, absolutely. Be yourself. Let people know that you're a mother. Totally okay to post pictures of your kids. You do what's best for you and your kids. That's just a little food for thought as we're learning about, the day that I had my first child 15 years ago, we didn't know as much about how the internet was used, the dark internet was used, as we do today. So now that we know that, we don't need to give 14 pictures of our kids every day and tell their entire life stories and know their name and all their stats and what schools to find them at, versus we know that it's not stranger danger. We were unfortunately taught that when we were young, is that strangers were going to come and steal our kids. No, generally your children can be abused by somebody whom you know, like, and trust. So giving folks less access to your children through the internet is a great way to protect them in ways that we were never taught as children to protect ourselves.
Okay.
Yes, Taryn, yeah, totally. One can build content that is family and kid relevant without making the content focus on a child in particular. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. How are you, girl? I haven't seen you in a while. So cool. So any other questions that are coming up that that I can answer for you? Well, we've got a captive audience for the next probably minute or two.
I have a question for you, Sarah. It's Holly.
Hey,
Hi.
good to see you again.
Yeah. I have a business page and a personal page on Facebook. How do I decide what to do with what?
Yes. So we know that business pages will never go farther than our personal pages, right? It's easier to go out and friend request people to attract them to your personal page than it is to invite people. And you got to invite people you already know. So it's kind of chicken or the egg. We need that egg in order to make the chicken. Mm-hmm. Long-term business pages are where we're going to be able to run ads, where we're going to be able to build a larger following. For example, on Facebook, right? We can only have 5,000 friends, but we can have unlimited people who like our business page. So my recommendation would be keep that content on that business page actually valuable. Oh my gosh, these are my favorite Super Bowl recipes. Maybe those are going to go into my business page and then I'm going to share them onto my personal page. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to decide which white paint. Everyone loves to tell you which white paint's better. That's going to go on my business page and then we're going to share it to my personal page. Try to put content in your business page that is so interesting that you would actually want to share it on your personal page. Here's my first day in business. Here's my first dollar that I'm putting on the wall. Like, bring people into the long-term story of your business page, because we want to have a big following there so that we can run ads. But if you're trying to decide, hey, I have a little bit of time and I only have an energy to do one or the other, go out there and post that on your personal page. But if you're going to have a business page, make sure that you commit to consistently posting in the business page, because that's going to increase your search engine optimization, as they say when they're trying to sell you their marketing plan, over on Google. One more way that's going to get your name to come up. I'll tell you up front, most people never look for realtors or lenders by typing in things on the internet. And generally, they're only going to type your name into the internet to find reviews or maybe find the last time you were arrested or whatever, right? They're only going to go to the internet and type your name in when they've already found you on social media. They didn't just like think of your name and then go to the internet to like find your phone number. Most people are going into the search engines inside social media to find you before they go to Google. So just some food for thought. We don't want that. If you're going to have a business page, have content there. You don't want just a bunch of dead stock photos that your company posts on your behalf. But if you only have the energy to do one or the other, let's make sure that we're putting that energy into your personal page.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. What other questions? I saw Rob, looks like Rob unmuted. Shelly might have unmuted. Any other questions for you guys before we wrap up today?
I don't think so.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
Where do you see like the cutting edge of social media marketing being at in, say, the next 12 months?
I'm a firm believer in
Like,
shorts.
what do you anticipate?
Yeah. I would say shorts on YouTube. That's like the one place that I don't see anybody investing enough time in that we know is huge. All of the major players in, the virtual world are beginning. A year ago, 6 months ago, they began putting content into shorts. And if we think about, we were all at home, during COVID, and TikTok came out. And the folks that grew as the algorithm grew have like 1 million followers, like a random guy in Salem, 1 million followers, the most followed person in the entire state of Oregon. And he's just, somebody who owns a local events company, right? Because the platform was growing at the same time he was. I could pop on today in TikTok and I would never maybe get to 1 million followers because everybody's already following each other. I'm competing against so many people. So if you think about if you wanted to do video, putting your time into YouTube shorts, we know that YouTube has 2.5 billion users, Facebook 2.9. They're the biggest monsters in the world. We also know that YouTube has a relationship with Google. So if people start searching for stuff that happens to be what you hashtag or happens to be the topics that you're talking about in your YouTube, we know that Google's going to give you a stronger placement. And because there's so much competition in YouTube videos, because there's already so many folks who spent all of COVID or the last 20 years building their following there, that specifically the YouTube shorts, which are basically like reels, that's where we're going to really see it grow in a big way. But it's not like you're going to post a YouTube short and then somebody's going to come and buy a house with you tomorrow. That's going to be a place where it's going to grow. The audience is going to grow as you grow along with it. And in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of folks that may end up being more likely to convert because you've built that relationship with them through shorts. So that would be my answer for that.
Yeah, Sarah, I posted a YouTube link of a short by a lawyer that capitalized on a Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial to explain legal jargon that was being used in that court case. And you can see how he did it. It was very, very clever, but it captured like the recency paired with the short and being able to bring value to the table to get interactions. So if anybody wants to watch that, there's a little YouTube link there.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You guys copy that out. I have seen that one. I think you shared that with me a while back. And that's a perfect example how you can teach people about, you're not just talking about the home buying process that like bores people. He's showing people he's a great lawyer by using a current event to be able to explain what was really happening from his perspective. Just like talking about what white paints are best for your home, you're not talking about the home buying process, but you're talking about something that helps people know you're knowledgeable in the space, you're worth listening to. Love it. Let's take 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap up for today. Any other questions I can answer?
Did you talk about length of videos? I mean, should they usually be like 5 to 10 seconds? You talked about like having like being like capturing attention in the first 3.
Yes. This is one that we watch the interest kind of rise and fall, and we have for so many years. It was like, okay, reels have to be 30 seconds, and those were so, the highest views. And then reels that were 15 seconds were the highest views. And then reels that were 3 to 5 seconds were the highest views. And if you follow a lot of people, especially in Instagram reels or in Facebook reels, they'll tell you, oh, this is the, a picture is the new video, and this is the new trending audio. And if you're authentic to you, you will get less caught up in the video recommendations. Ideally your live videos are longer than 3 minutes. We know that in order to get a view on a live video, they have to watch that video for more than 30 seconds. A lot of folks are saying shorter reels are better, less than 30 seconds for a reel. And because people don't really have the time to they're just trying to flip to the next piece of content. So it would be easy to say, let's get your live videos over 3 minutes. Let's keep your reels under 30 seconds. But go back to the authenticity piece. If you are talking about something you are so passionate about, like one of my biggest, I think I have my biggest viewed reels on Instagram is, quickly over 20,000 views in just the last few weeks, on account of it was something that I was passionate about. It was a quote that I freaking loved. And so I made it my own and I posted that. And so I would rather have you focus on something that you're really proud about, that really has all of that content in one place, rather than, I'm trying to keep it under 5 seconds because somebody told me that now 5-second reels get the longest view. If you got something fun and funny that you can show in 5 seconds, show it in 5 seconds. And mix it up and then see what works. Jordan Keck's a great person to follow. He's, everything from the I love corn video to hanging out with his daughters, to making fun of people who are sassy to him on the internet, and then see where those views go. I was surprised that my most viewed reels are when I'm quoting something. I just ripped off a quote from Samuel L. Jackson, and then that's my best reel. Whatever, y'all like.
Did you do it in a voice and impersonate him too?
No. I've got a few of those. I definitely have some that are funny voices. The one where I made a video of my back being cupped by an acupressurist or whatever, those people who do the fire cupping. And I was talking about not trying anything new in your business right now. We need to go back to the old ways. That having somebody take little cups of fire on your back wasn't going to get you any more business today. That got just as many views as anything else, So pay attention. I found that if I post a funny video of me and my boyfriend, it's the lowest viewed. Bless his heart. If I put him in my stories, I will have 500 views in my stories where I normally have 200. But if I make a reel with a bunch of videos of us having a fun time, I'll have 500 views instead of the average, which is 5,000. So figuring out how people want to consume content, you have to put more content out there so that you have more to measure for what's attractive. And in the meantime, I'm getting better at making videos because I'm getting more comfortable. I'm getting more vulnerable because I'm letting more people into my life. So all of those things are worth considering, and just getting out there and doing it is going to be the biggest way for you to be able to really start measuring what you like to do, what you find great, what's authentic to you, and then what people seem to be most attracted to.
Okay.
So cool. Well, thank you guys all so much for joining me today. This will go live on YouTube by Monday. I will make sure when you register for this that all of those folks get it. Please share it. If you think that this was valuable at all, feel free to give me a shout out on whatever social media platform you love best, and let people know that it was worth your time. It's so important to me that we have more authenticity in this industry so that we have a more diverse population of homeowners, so we can have a more diverse population of generational wealth in this world, which is why I wake up every morning, why I'm so proud of my partnership and my position at Advantage Mortgage with many of your smiling faces. So if you are in the industry and you are struggling to either get business, to get leads, or you're beginning to feel lonely after the last couple of years, you are more than welcome to message me directly, text, or on any one of the social media platforms, and we will get you to the next piece, because you all deserve to wake up happy every day, even singing. And if you're not, I'll send you videos like I send to Meredith of me singing in the morning to get her out of bed. But love you all dearly, and I know that I'll see you on the other side. Have a great rest of your week.